Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest Resource Hub video from GlowMetrics. In this video we are going to look at how we can create a new channel group for our Gen AI traffic. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our user acquisition reports here and take an example of our current default primary channel groups. So if we look at the data here, we are using here, you'll see our first user primary channel group, and that's a default channel group. It's the channel group definitions that Google Analytics have set up by default. What does that mean? Well, let's look at our source and medium. So let's combine this with our first user source and medium. So we've got our channel group and we've got our source and medium of our traffic. And essentially our channel group is a way that Google group our sources and mediums into different channels based on different rules. So for example, if a user comes to our site on a granular level, they might come from, we'll take the example in line 1, might come from Google as a source and the medium is organic. So let's say they click on an organic link on Google and get to our site. By default, the source will be Google, the medium will be organic. If we look at line 3, we have another example where someone has came from Bing and they have used an organic search to get to our site. So in that case, by default, the source is Bing and the medium that they've came through is an organic visit. So what Google Analytics will do is it will group different traffic together based on the source and medium. And we know that, for example, if we have a Google organic source and medium, anywhere where the medium is organic and the source is a search engine, Google have those rules to say, okay, I'm going to count this as an organic search visit. So you'll see, for example, in line 4, we have another example of where the user has came from Google, the source is Google, and the medium is CPC. The medium is cost per click, and that's a common definition for anyone who clicks on a paid ad from Google. So again, Google has the rules whereby if the source is Google and the medium is CPC, that's bunched into a channel which is called paid search. It's the same as if someone came along and searched on Bing and clicked on a paid link. Google might choose to define that as paid search as well. There is a list of rules that Google uses for channel groups that we'll include as part of the video notes here. But one of the things that we're going to look at today is if you actually look at line 5, we've got some referral traffic from ChatGPT. So the source is ChatGPT, the medium is referral. And you'll notice in line 7, we also have source is ChatGPT and the medium is not set. So that's been bunched into unassigned. And if we look at line 10, we've got traffic from Gemini and that's coming in as a referral. So it's been grouped as a channel group that is referral traffic. So that's just 3 simple examples where we have Gen AI traffic that we want to really be bunched in as Gen AI traffic. We don't want it coming in as referral traffic, or we don't want it unassigned. We want to have its own, because of the increase in the amount of traffic that's coming from AI platforms, we want to create our own channel group. And Google have lots of channel groups, as we'll see here. If we click on admin, and then underneath data display, we select channel groups here. And we can see here that Google Analytics has these default channel groups. If we click in here, what we'll see here is a list of the channels. And like I said, there's rules based on sources and mediums that will be used to define a user having fitted into one of these channels. But what you'll also notice here is that there's 18 channels and there's none that define Gen AI traffic. So that's what we're going to do today, create a new channel group that takes Gen AI traffic and builds it out into its own channel group. So we're happy enough with the channels that are there. So whenever we create a new channel group, it will actually take the default that Google Analytics have, which is fine. Now we're going to call this group, I'm just going to call it Joanne's channel group. And I'm going to add in here contains Gen AI. Okay, and I might just put a bracket in here so we can see it in the interface Gen AI. Okay, so you can obviously define what that group name is and the description as well. Obviously, if there's multiple users that are using your GA4 account, you might name this as default channel group 2, for example. Okay, but for the purpose of training, I'll just add a common name there. And what we have is our channel list, but what we want to do is add a new channel. And we're going to call this channel Gen AI. Now it's asking us to define a condition to match this channel name on. So let's add a condition. Now you can see here that there's multiple ways that you can take a specific source of your traffic or medium, or you can take lots of definitions here for channel traffic that comes to your site. What I'm going to match this, I suppose, against is the source of traffic, because we've seen in our reports, and that's, you know, whenever you're defining anything in Google Analytics, look at the dimension that is currently being used and the output of that dimension in your reports, and then create your rules based on that. Now, you might remember when we looked at our user report, we seen that the medium sometimes changed. It sometimes came in as unassigned, sometimes came in as a referral, but the source was always the name of the AI platform in which the user came from. So what I have done is I've actually created this rule or this command or this regular expression that defines common AI platforms, and this is this particular pattern uses pipe symbols as regular expression matches. So the pipe symbol matches, or is an OR match. So what we're basically saying here is if you see the source as ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini or Claude and so on, you can take this and match it to the source condition. Now we're actually going to take I'm going to choose a partially matched regex. What that means is we're looking for Google to define contains matching on this. So essentially what this means is create a new channel, call it Gen AI, and the rule that I'm going to set for this is that if the user comes in where the source matches, contains any of these AI platforms, then group that traffic as such. So group it into the Gen AI channel. Okay, and that note that I have, this regex pattern here, we will include that in the video notes, but I must stress that this is not an exhaustive list. There are lots of AI platforms that have come along even in the last 6 months, and it's important that if you see another AI platform or another AI source coming through and you know that it's not part of the channel definition that you're setting up today, then it's always important to add, again, another pipe symbol and type that source of traffic in there. Okay, but we'll include this regex pattern in the video notes. So if we've got our details there, we've got our source, we've got partially matches regex, and then we've got our channels. Let's click to save that, and you'll notice that this has gone in at the bottom as channel 19. Now, this is important because each of these have an order, and essentially what that means is when a user comes to your site or hits your site, Google will read the source and medium, for example, of where that users came from, and it'll try and it'll see that source and medium, it'll match the channel definitions, or look through the channel definitions, and it'll try and bunch that user into a certain channel. And if it doesn't match the rules against direct traffic, it'll go to the next one, it'll go to the next one, and so on. Now, why is that important? It's important because our Gen AI traffic is sitting at the bottom at the minute, so it's very last on the list. So if our Gen AI traffic matches other rules above that, then that traffic will be bunched into that channel. So we need to take the order and move that up. And normally we anything really above referral traffic, which is the most common channel that AI traffic is misattributed to, make sure that your Gen AI channel rules sit at least above that, and click apply. So you'll see now that it's actually, we've bumped it up to 13, and I can save that group. So that's our channel set up. Now, what we can also do, a nice feature of GA4 is allowing us to choose the primary channel group. So at the minute you'll see this, it's the one that Google has set up. It's a Google Analytics predefined channel group. But what we want to do now, we can still choose this other channel group in reports, but if we want to set our primary one, it will choose our Gen AI traffic going forward. Now, as it says here, once saved, the change will only affect onward definition, which means that any reports with data ranges across new and old channel group definitions, the results may be different. But if we want to choose this one going forward, then we can select Joanne's channel group as a primary one. Okay, and if we go in here, we will be able to scroll down to user acquisition. And you'll see here that we've now got, because we've set it as a primary channel group, by default when we go into our reports, it'll select that as our kind of main primary channel group. Now, as we've seen when we're choosing channel groups, it means that when we set that as our primary channel group, that will work going forward from today. Okay, so let's say we've added our channel group as the default channel group, and we want to see how our data will be recorded going forward. We can have a look at this report. So I've applied the Gen AI channel group to our reports. And if we look at our first user source medium, you notice first of all, for the same data that we were looking at, we now have a Gen AI channel, and that Gen AI channel now brings in our ChatGPT, Gemini, perplexity platform traffic in as our new channel called Gen AI. It means that our AI traffic no longer sits behind an unassigned or referral channel group. So again, just a reminder, you can set up your channel group If you select it as the primary channel group, then going forward, you'll see the change that we're seeing here, but you'll not see it retrospectively. Retroactively, you'll only see it moving forward. But I just wanted to show you an example of how that is actually then going to look when you start collecting your data after you've set up your Gen AI channel.